Hello everyone and welcome to another game I played on PTCGO. For this match I'm going to be playing another game with a deck I've played previous. I made a few modifications to it, but this is Seismitoad Garbodor. So the idea is to get an ability and an item lock in play. Looks like here I'm going to mulligan off the get-go. Sorry, and I'm starting off with Yveltal EX. So not the best start, and my opponent is going to start off with Donphan. So Donphan Trevanant is sort of the archetype that goes with that setup. So we do see a fighting stadium and a strong energy going to play, and a roller skates heads from my opponent. So she's probably playing Donphan Trevanant, and unfortunately she also plays a Hypnotoxic Laser and poisons me. And then we see a Korrina. So Korrina is going to bring out Donphan and an item card. And it looks like that item card is going to be a Muscle Band, but unfortunately she cannot attack me this turn. She does bench another Donphan. And here I have a few options. If I draw another Pokemon, I could get out of the poison by using Escape Rope. But unfortunately I don't. I'm going to put down Veerbank, hoping I can get a Float Stone or another Escape Rope, but I will use the Escape Rope in hand to draw out that Donphan with no energy to at least slow her down. I'm going to play a DCE down and then N and hope I can have some way of getting out of the active. I was fortunate enough to draw 3 Pokemon, but I didn't draw that Float Stone or Escape Rope. So unfortunately I will be stuck in the active taking poison damage, so I took a risk with playing down that Veerbank because I don't want her to get the additional damage that Fighting Stadium would allow. So now my opponent is going to evolve her active Donphan. So this is going to allow her to pull off Spinning Turn, which will let her retreat her active into something on the bench. She's going to play another Korrina, and it looks like she's going to bring out another fighting Pokemon, and let's see what the item is. So here she could play Evo Soda to evolve that Phantom she just played, or here it looks like she's going to play get an Ultra Ball, and a Professor's Letter is the card she plays here, getting 2 fighting energy out of the deck, and now she's going to evolve her Phanpy into Donphan. So now we see 2 Donphans in play. Another laser gets played. This time she's just trying to go for the sleep since I'm already poisoned, unfortunately. So she's going to play a Spinning Turn here, retreating. But fortunately I only took 20 damage from the attack directly because of resistance. But in between turns I take 30 thanks to my own Veerbank. So that was quite dumb of me in hindsight, just because it didn't play out like I wanted to. So now I'm going to play a Juniper. I do get a Trubbish, so that'll be important in this deck to just turn off abilities. I don't want Trevanant's ability to come active. But here I will Y-Cyclone, getting that DCE and moving it on to Seismitoad EX. So with Quaking Punch, I will lock tools, and that'll be kind of important. If my opponent does manage to evolve into Trevanant, I can make sure it remains in the active slot if it cannot attach a Float Stone, or a Switch or Escape Rope cannot be played. So now we see a Trevanant go down. So here is where my opponent could use Spinning Turn to bring in Trevanant and prevent me from using item cards, which would slow me down quite a bit. But my opponent does get the knockout here with that Spinning Turn in the first 2 prizes. But I'm going to send up Seismitoad. So this is kind of going to be a battle of the locks. So we're both going to have item locks in play right now, making for sort of a interesting standoff. So I'm going to Colress, and I draw nothing I can play immediately or want to play yet because I can't play items. We'll play just Quaking Punch for 30 and let my opponent go now. She can't get Trevanant out of the active, at least I don't foresee any way in the standard decks for her to do it, but she will attach a fighting energy onto one of her Donphans. And now I'm going to attach a Dark Energy to my benched Seismitoad. I will play an N here. Again, I'm drawing a bunch of stuff I cannot play, but I will Quaking Punch here for 30. So here I'm just trying to set up as many alternate attackers as I can, as my opponent is doing pretty much the same thing. She's going to Sycamore here to get a fresh 7, tossing some items that I'm pretty sure she would rather have had. One of them was a Floatstone, so she may be abandoning the strategy of using Trevanant altogether, since Floatstone is quite critical for this strategy to work. She does attach another strong energy onto one of her Donphans. And here I can actually Juniper this hand away, but I'm not going to. I actually think the lasers will come into handy, and I do want that tool in case I do finally get a Garbodor. And here we actually see that she plays Getsis, so I have to shuffle in everything but the Juniper. And she gets to draw a bunch of cards. And from that she does evolve another Phanpy into Donphan. So I managed to top deck a Garbodor, and with the Juniper in hand I can get 7. So while that gets us what's annoying, it definitely actually helped out. So now I'm going to attach a Dark Energy onto a Mewtwo and Quaking Punch for 30. Finally knocking out that Trevenant, so that was the slow way since I couldn't play Hypnotoxic Laser or a Muscle Band. But now my opponent can finally send up an actual attacker in the form of Donphan, and now she has 3 in play. She's going to knock out my Veerbank City Gym and put in a Fighting Stadium, which will increase her damage output, and with that strong energy, increase it even further. So the question is what she's going to do. She's actually going to use Lysander to bring up a Seismitoad. So this tells me she probably did ultimately abandon the strategy of using Trevenant, since you wouldn't, since she should have gone for Trubbish, or sorry, for Garbodor if that was her strategy, if she wanted to bring that out into play. So I'm going to play a Laser and then an N. I here can play a Palpad and or an Ultra Ball. Here I think I'm going to Ultra Ball to thin out my deck, since there was a bunch of turns where I chose not to play Junipers for fear of getting rid of something important. I actually want to get rid of stuff that I don't think I'll be using. So I will also play this Palpad just to bring back a Chorus and an N. Since my opponent has the prize lead, I may need that. And here I'm just going to Quaking Punch for 60. So my opponent here can Spinning Turn again, but she won't get the knockout, I don't think, since she doesn't have a strong energy attached. And she, for whatever reason, just passes. I think she should have hit me, but I'll take that. I'll take the Quaking Punch knockout after attaching an energy onto Mewtwo. Now she promotes one of her Donphans on the bench. This one does have a strong energy, so she will be able to get the knockout here. But first she's going to N. With Spinning Turn she does 80. So she actually chooses not to use Wreck, which would have gotten her the knockout. So she probably wants the Fighting Stadium card in play, which I can understand, but she could have taken a knockout and applied some pressure on my end. Instead, I will take the knockout, and she's left with only one Donphan on the field, which is not a good position to be in. She's going to attach a strong energy onto her last Donphan and play a Professor Sycamore. With this, she will actually hit me for 100 and the knockout, and I will send up Mewtwo, which now has 4 energies attached to it, and play Hypnotoxic Laser. With this, I'll be sure to get the knockout. So my opponent, I guess, sort of just gave up there prematurely, and I take the win. Thank you guys for watching.